Hello and welcome to this reading Capricorn signs. Today we're going to look at all the messages about 2023, the lessons that you've learned, the blessings that are coming your way, and some messages for career and love. So stay tuned till the very end. The first card that we have for you is the Mentor card with the number 6 on it. So if it resonates, the number 6 could be significant for you. But as a whole, the Mentor card, it talks about that you so there are a couple of messages here. Either you could be a mentor in someone else's life. Maybe some of you do actually have a profession or a career as a teacher or something to do with education, coaching, training. Either that's something that you're right now studying for, training for, or maybe that is your profession in some capacity. But for others, I feel that this mentor could be talking about a significant figure or a person in your life that either you've encountered that person already or you're going to meet this person in the next year in 2023, where someone is entering your life who is that mentor or that guidance that you really need to help you step into the next chapter of your life and whatever next stage in your journey that what it looks like. And with the mentor card, I'm also seeing, especially with this figure of an owl being present here, I'm seeing that you are someone who is intellectual or who has a lot of these ideas about how you want to lead your life, what decisions you want to take. But sometimes it becomes difficult to take certain decisions when you don't have the right level of support. And that exact support is something that I'm seeing it's entering your life and it is becoming a really major focus of your journey ahead. And especially for those of you, if you feel that you've been feeling a little bit unguided, unsupported, and not having the right information, the right person to guide you through certain challenges, I'm seeing that the mentor figure is entering your life. And as I mentioned, it could also be you who is acting as this guide or support for people in your life, either in your personal or maybe even in your professional life. And with the mentor card, one more message that I see here is to remember what purpose that you're here to fulfill. Maybe there is a mission that you're on, maybe there is some sort of guidance or some sort of wisdom, as I said with the owl card, maybe you carry some wisdom within you, and one purpose that you're fulfilling in this lifetime is to share that wisdom with others who might benefit from it. And that is something that I'm seeing, that you're really stepping into that role for other people. And this can also mean that you are both the teacher and the student in some capacity. So you might be influencing and supporting someone else on their journey while you're also finding the right support, the right people in your life who can guide you on yours. So there is a lot of give and take happening. There's a lot of mutual respect that is entering your life. And overall, I see a lot of empowerment for your intellectual strengths, your capacities, and then using them to create the best outcomes for yourself. So with that, let's look at your tarot cards. The very first card that we have is about what the previous year of 2022 has looked like for you. And the card that we have is the Hermit with number 9 on it. So this card tells me that in the past year, you have done a lot of reflection to go inwards, to figure out what your own path is, to figure out where do you want to head next. And the Hermit, it might bring along with it some sort of a solo journey. There is a solitary path that you're leading on. And sometimes, especially when we're doing a lot of inner work or we're trying to navigate our lives, where to move to next, that's when that point, that moment in our lives, that stage can feel a little bit lonely, where we're just going through these challenges by ourselves and we're made to find the solution for ourselves. And that is why we have the mentor card here, that if you've been feeling a bit lonely in your journey, and if it has been tough for you, then definitely a guide, a support system is entering your life. So stay on for a little longer, hold on, don't give up just yet. There is support that is entering your life. You are learning from this situation, and this hermit mode of being by yourself and going inwards is eventually leading into something new, leading into a lot of inner work and learning that has taken place for you. And let's see what the lesson that you've learned from this hermit has been for you. And the card that we have is the King of Pentacles. So Capricorn being an earth sign, and even the King of Pentacles, which talks about the earth sign here, it tells me that I see you in the state of being this the King of Pentacles in this position, that you are finally reaching that stage where you're building that safety and security around yourself. Everything that you've been trying to manifest is entering your life. There is so much abundance and prosperity. You are truly turning your dreams into actions, and they are giving you all the desired rewards that you want into your life. And overall, this is just such a positive message for so much abundance. And you are also, maybe your perspective of how you view wealth has also undergone some changes in the past year. Earlier, if thinking about accumulating wealth or creating a safety for you, if that was full of stress, then I see that after this inner journey, the focus has shifted a little bit. That yes, this wealth, this resource is here for a reason. It helps to make our journeys a little bit easier, but at the same time, it's not the sole priority. There are other things that you're achieving through the path that you're on. And again, taking this only as an example, so for example, the mentor, there is obviously a profession, a career aspect to it, and then you get something in return. You get that monetary reward in return, but there is also a huge value attached to it in terms of the impact that you end up having on other people's lives. And not just in that specific profession, but in anything else that you're doing. What are the other values that are important for you? What is the other impact that you are creating in your life? And also, as I mentioned, there is, after this inner work, this inner journey for you, Capricorn signs, I'm seeing that the past year has also allowed you to see wealth and abundance and security from a very different lens. For you, it's no longer about just being in a certain cycle, working and then getting something in return. Rather, it's becoming a lot more about creating that own sense of safety and security for you, creating this sense where you feel truly fulfilled by what you're doing. And the King of Pentacles is also someone who's really grounded, connected with their own lives, with their own purpose, and someone who also really values, with this earth imagery here, and especially Capricorn signs value groundedness a lot, value being having that sense of safety and security around you. And now you're learning that there are a lot of ways in which you can attain that for yourself. Maybe society as a whole tells us that you have to reach so and so milestone in order to be truly satisfied with your life or to see yourself as successful. But your definition of success is changing. You are re-evaluating what your own values are, what your own priorities are, and what you can do to make sure that you're upholding those values in your own life. And with the next card, let's look at, after these lessons, how are you implementing those, and what new opportunities or blessings are coming for you in the year of 2023. So with that, we have the 10 of swords, and I know that on the surface this can seem like a very difficult imagery, and to see that as a blessing or an opportunity might be difficult. But this 10 of swords, it talks about something that we're releasing, something that we're letting go of, something that we're cutting off from our lives. And the swords is all about beliefs, about thoughts, about plans. And that's what I'm seeing here, that this moment of the hermit, or this inner journey or reflection that you've had, it has taught you to re-evaluate your own values, where you are in your journey. And after that re-evaluation, there are, what I'm seeing here, what is dying out or what is cutting off is your older plans, or this older version of who you thought you were. Or, maybe you saw yourself as someone who had a certain priority or a value, but because of the changes that took place in the last year, you've been able to re-evaluate and ask yourself, that is that really who I am? Is that really what I want to do in my life? And maybe some of you, the answer that came to you was that you were not being authentic. And now I see you truly stepping into your authenticity, stepping into your power, and taking charge of your own life, taking charge of the values and beliefs that you're going to follow. And now you're no longer doing things just to appease other people or just to appear a certain way in front of other people. Rather, especially with the King of Pentacles, now you are confident in your own self, you are assured in your own self, and there is this internal sense of validation that you're feeling towards yourself, and you don't have to rely on just appearing a certain way to other people. And that is truly a strength, because when you can finally come to that point where your happiness and peace comes from within and not just the judgment from outside, that's when you begin to see yourself for who you are, and you no longer attach your own worth or your own acceptance based on just what other people say about you or how they view you. So maybe what is dying down or what you're leaving behind is the burden of other people's opinions, the burdens of what they have to say, what their judgment are. And maybe for some of you Capricorn signs, it might have happened that in your life maybe there is something you wanted to do, but you might have held yourself back from following that path or from choosing that option because there was some fear, or there was this sense of what will other people say, how will I be perceived. And now that you went through this hermit phase, you've realized that it truly doesn't matter what other people say, as long as you are being your authentic self, you are not causing harm to other people, you're just working towards your own goal. And that is a power that you're carrying forward in the next year. And now let's see what is this thing that's actually being released and how will that help you in your journey. So what we have for you is the Eight of Wands, and this card tells me that once you had this moment of hermit, of being going inward a little bit, questioning your own values and priorities, and there are certain things that you had to cut off from your life. For some of you it could even be habits such as comparing yourself to others, or just these beliefs that you had about yourself that weren't true or that were just holding you back. So now you're cutting them off. And with the Eight of Wands, I see that now you are truly preparing yourself to head into a different direction. You're understanding what exactly are the things that you need to focus on. And what you're focusing on is no longer other people's values or judgments, but your own confidence, your own abilities, and what all you're capable of. And even in terms of your career, your work life, your profession, I'm seeing that your especially when it comes to the rewards that you're getting from the work, I'm seeing the focus shifting on, maybe some of you have been in a work situation, or even in your academic life it could have been in a situation where you really relied on external motivation or for other people's their judgments. Some of you it could be about grades or getting a certain status or something like that, and those are also very valid goals to have. But as long as there is no intrinsic motivation, it becomes difficult to sustain yourself through just these external rewards. And I'm seeing that that is something that you're leaving behind, and your own internal motivation is becoming a focus for you. And now you're aligning your wants in a specific direction. You are understanding what your true goals are, where you want your life to head into, and then you're taking action accordingly. And with the next card, let's also look at what could be the potential challenges or obstacles that might come in your path that you need to be aware of. And the card that we have for you is the Knight of Wands. So it's interesting that the Knight of Wands is coming in the position of a challenge, because we had the Eight of Wands as what blessing or opportunity that you have, or how you can deal with this change. And this is all about aligning your wands or aligning the options that you have and then taking action. But something that you need to be aware of is this Nine of Wands energy, because in its shadow element, the Knight of Wands could be about acting prematurely or taking certain decisions without having thought about it through, so without having properly considered everything that that decision is going to involve. So that is something to be aware of in 2023 for you Capricorn signs, that make sure that before taking any action, or before making a certain decision, or even before you commit to something, it could be about accepting a job opportunity, it could be about accepting an offer that requires you to relocate somewhere, or it could even be talking about your relationships. So maybe Some of you might have had a connection or a relationship that broke down in the last year because it didn't align with your values or who you are as a person, and that had to be something that you had to let go of. And now you're understanding your values, you're understanding what your priorities are. But the caution here is again to give yourself that moment to reflect on these experiences before you jump into another connection or before you take an action that's impulsive. And even in terms of your career, maybe if there is something that you've left behind to move into something new, or just in general if you are looking for new opportunities, so then make sure that you are not taking just the first option that comes your way, because it might happen that you haven't given yourself enough time to look at it holistically. And sometimes what happens is, if there is a difficult situation that we go through, and if there is a lesson that we were meant to learn from it, but if we don't give ourselves enough time to learn those lessons, then that similar situation might enter our lives disguised as something new, and we might not realize that. So make sure that before you say yes to anything in your life in the next year, you are giving yourself enough time to reflect on it, to look at that situation from all angles. Make sure that your own plans are and priorities are aligned. Make sure that offer or that opportunity actually aligns with who you are as a person, what your values and your goals are. And then, then definitely once you are ready and prepared for that, then you will be able to take that action. And especially going back to the mentor card, any point in your life in the next year you feel that there is a lot of uncertainty or you're not able to take the decisions by yourself, then make use of this support system that you might have around you. It could be in the form of a parent, a teacher, supervisor, guide, mentor. Maybe it could even be some spiritual guru, some coach, or someone in your life who is there to guide you. And for some of you, because we had the Hermit and the Ten of Swords here, maybe some of you have also faced, especially with the swords, there could be emotional challenges, there could have been certain difficulties. So if for seeking professional help, if that is a resource that you've used in the past, or if that's something that you're considering, even that could take the shape of a mentor, someone who's helping you navigate these challenges that are placed in your life. So just remember one thing, that you are not alone in your journey. Even though with the Hermit card it might sometimes seem that you're by yourself and you're left to your own devices to find your own solutions, but that's not always the case. There is help around. It can be through a lot of different forms: friends, family, other support system, as I mentioned, guides, mentors, professional help. Or for some of you it could even be about a certain faith that you have. If you communicate with the universe, your spirit guides, angels, in any form that it is present in, just remind yourself that you're not alone. And when it comes to saying yes to anything, make sure that you're taking enough time to evaluate before you step into that direction. And with the final tarot card, let's also look at your relationships, your connections, matters of the heart, and what do you need to know. The card that we have for you is the Emperor. So for some of you, there could be a significant Aries sign that is in your life. So there are two meanings that I see here. For some of you, it could be about a person from the past, that there is a significant person in your life with an Aries sign. And some of you, this could be a male figure, but or an authority figure, but it doesn't have to. But someone with an Aries sign could have had a significant um impact in your life, could have really affected your journey. Or for some of you, I'm seeing that there are there is some influence on you that could be holding you back. It could be either a past connection, or maybe the relationship that you've had with your family, the way those connections have been. Maybe some part of it is holding you back from truly being yourself, or to say yes to other connections. So it's time for you to address what are these things that could be holding you back from inviting certain connections in your life. For others of you, Capricorn sign with the Emperor, I see that your when it comes to your love and relationships, and especially either if you are single or if you've experienced a recent heartbreak, then this card is talking about taking charge of the situation. making sure that you are valuing your own beliefs, your own values, everything that you deem important in your life, and you're not letting someone else walk all over your standards, and you are honoring and respecting your own standards, and you are only accepting those people into your life who really fit in with who you are, and you're not just giving anyone a chance. And that's why I see with the Emperor card that when it comes to love and relationships, you're really taking charge of the situation. You are feeling so much more empowered with this Emperor card. So if you're single, then I feel, this Knight of Wands could actually be talking about, as I mentioned, not to say anyone who enters your life without having thought about that situation fully. So you're not being impulsive in your connections. I'm seeing that as a strength for you, where you're really valuing your own self before just investing your energy in anyone who enters your life. And again, if you are already in a relationship, or if there's a person in your mind, in that situation, I see that you are becoming a lot more open with communication. You're letting the other person know that, these are the changes that I would want us to make together, or for this relationship to have those changes, so that both of you could be in that healthy dynamic with each other. Maybe if there is some situation in which you were wronged in the past, so now you're taking charge of that situation. You're making sure that no one can walk all over you or to ignore your needs and values. For others, it might be that, and this is something that you already know somehow, that there is some connection that needs to be, that you need to let go of in your life, because it's not serving you. Instead, it's hurting you, and it's making you let go of your own values. So now it's the time to consider how you can make that change in your life. And finally, if you are already in a committed relationship and you're happy with the way that things are here, I see that with the Emperor card, that there is a lot of power and leadership qualities that you're stepping into. You're making major decisions about what to do together as a couple. Maybe there are certain life changes that are happening where you are going to play a major role. But irrespective of the exact love situation that you're in right now, the main message here is that you are really entering that phase of being very empowered and being in charge of your life and of the situations in your life, of the people in your life. And you basically, no one else can take you for granted in this next year, and you are no longer going to be in the position where others can step all over you or others can betray you, because you're maturing a lot. You are gaining that emotional strength to stand in your power. But just make sure that that energy is also balanced with a little bit of compassion and gentleness whenever necessary. And follow your intuition to know when you have to stand into your power, and when you can be a little more gentle or compassionate with the way that you're communicating certain things. And with that, let's finally look at the angel affirmation card that we have for you, Capricorn signs. And the card that we have for you is choices. So if you want, you could maybe take a screenshot if you wish to. You can read the card later, read the affirmation later. But overall, what this card talks about, and it's interesting that this is talking about choices, because that's what I was saying here with the Knight of Wands and with the Eight of Wands here, that if a moment comes in the next year, in 2023, where you're called upon to make a decision, make sure that you're not doing that impulsively. You're using your intuition. You are considering your highest goods and your own values, your standards, before you make a certain decision. And this card says that when you worry about decisions, it means that your mind is trying to control your life, and the results in choices made from your ego. So make sure that you're making these decisions, and there has to be a balance of your mind and your heart. You can't always just rely on logic or your planning and reasoning for all decisions, and you cannot always be just emotional with the decisions that you're taking in your life. So can there be a balance between these two? Your angel guidance is also here to is to consider and evaluate all the options, then let go of your head and choose from your heart that which gives you the greatest joy and it feels right. So yes, use your head, use your um judgment to go through all the options. But when you finally make that option, that's when you have to let go of your head and fully tap into your heart, tap into what feels right for you and what gives you the most joy. So as I mentioned, if that choice is about a relationship or a connection, make sure that you are checking in with yourself, that how does thinking about this decision, how does it make me feel? Do I feel overwhelmed, or do I feel joy? Do I feel that I'm taken care of? So use that as a system for you to make certain decisions. And also when it comes to your career choices, ask yourself that, do I truly feel that joy when I think about that decision, or is it coming out of some sense of compulsion to make that decision? Especially as we saw with the King of Pentacles, that earlier you might have been operating through certain priorities, but now that those priorities are changing, your questions are also changing that help you decide what decision to take. The card also says, do not act from foolish impulse, however, rather from divinely prompted inspiration. And that is exactly what I was saying with the Knight of Wands, that don't make a decision that is rash, that is in the moment, in the heat of the moment, or that is impulsive. Rather, follow your inner guidance, follow your intuition. And as we saw with the Hermit card, this journey of going a bit inwards, reflecting with yourself, that can really help you a lot to connect with your own intuition and try to understand and recognize for yourself that for you personally, how does your intuition work? Is it through some inner sense of knowing that happens for you, or is it through something, that this is the decision I should take, and then you see external signs about it for confirmation, maybe angel numbers that come your way, or maybe there's a certain message or a sign that you're looking for, that you're just thinking about, and it somehow appears in your life. So use whatever mechanism works the best for you, and use that to make the decisions that come into your life. The card also says that make the choices for the highest good. Remember that if something is not for your highest good, it certainly is not for the highest good of those around you. So let go of false feelings of responsibility for others and choose with wisdom. And this especially makes a lot more sense when we talk about relationships. So sometimes, you might question that, what if this actually is the right person for me, and I'm hurting that person by letting them go? Or maybe, you might sometimes try to rationalize with yourself that, yes, this person hurt me, but if I end this connection, then it'll hurt them too. And that sort of a thinking is faulty, because if intuitively, if you know that this person isn't right, or this connection, sort of understand that it's not going to be for your best good, then you are not doing either yourself or even that person a favor by giving them a chance, especially when you know that intuitively that it's not going to work out well for you or for that person. So there, you need to remind yourself, as the card says, let go of false feelings of responsibility for others, that yes, there is certain responsibilities that you have about other people's emotions and not hurting them, but give up this false sense of responsibility that you're accountable or responsible for every single outcome in their lives. Or maybe if there's something that they've done wrong, or maybe they don't align with your own values, and then you've decided to let go of them, then it's not your responsibility about how that'll make the other person feel, because you are standing up for yourself. So stay in your power. And finally, the card also says that become still and attune to your soul. Ask your angels for guide and help. Then, from your point of deep inner stillness, make your choices easily and spontaneously. So, this will take some time to get there, to be able to trust your own choices and your own wisdom, and take that time. It's okay to take your time and then make a decision, rather than making the wrong decision in the moment, or being impulsive and making a decision. And finally, this is something you could repeat for yourself. This could become an affirmation for you in the year of 2023. You can comment down below. It says, I choose for my highest good. So choose for your highest good, choose what's best for you, and have a little bit of faith that your inner guidance, your higher self will guide you through any choices or any decisions that come your way in the next year. So, with that, Capricorn signs, thank you so much for joining me for this reading. And Make sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I post regular pick a card readings, and if you want to book a personal reading with me, all the details are in the description. Wish you a very happy new year and thank you for joining me. I'm sending you a lot of love, light, and power. I'll see you in my next reading. Bye bye.